Hey everybody, welcome back to Premium Picks. Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a great holidays. It's been a good break. I enjoyed it, but it's time to get back to business. Do what we do best, smash some picks, smash some bets. So first fight card of the year, we got UFC Fight Night Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker. Before we break down this full card, please like and subscribe. We appreciate it. And let's make 2024 our best picks yet. You ready, A-Train?
Yeah, man. Let's go.
Let's do it. First fight of the night, we got 13-6 Felipe Bunes coming in at plus 175 against 9-1 Joshua Van coming in at minus 210. This fight scares me. Now, listen, Joshua Van, great fighter. He upset Zalgas, which I don't really think was an upset. I think we kind of saw that happening anyways, to be honest. But good fighter. Boone's also a pretty dangerous guy himself. He's not a bad fighter himself. I think this fight will go Joshua Van's way, but I don't love the minus 210 price tag. Give me Van to get it done just by being maybe a little bit quicker, a little bit better everywhere. But it scares me. I don't think I'll be playing it personally. How do you see it?
It's a close fight, a closer fight than like the odds say. Boones was supposed to fight Zalgas, I think, and then I think Zalgas pulled out, or was Boones? Someone pulled out, and that fight went awry. And then I think it was Boones that pulled out, and then Van ended up fighting Zalgas,
replacing him.
Yeah, same night, right? The good things about Joshua Van is good volume, smart fighter, 22 years old, young. You know, he's durable because he got hit with some hard shots against Kevin Borges in the last fight. So Boones and Borges their striking kind of like mimics each other. They have quick hands and they both hit with some power, right? Boones has got that ground game. He'll fight from the bottom. So Van, when he got hit and kind of tired, he sort of tired out in the last fight, but not really, but sort of, you could see him slowing down a little bit, but you know, he put out 156 significant strikes. So I'd be tired too after like maybe half of that, to be honest with you. And how did that come on the screen?
Yeah, you did that before too. I told you.
My hands are in my pocket. That's the funniest part. Anyway, I think volume wise, Van's got him. Durability wise, Van's got him. I think if it gets to the ground, it's going to be a little bit shaky for Van. But if he keeps it standing, I don't see why he doesn't win this fight. Minus 210, I guess it's fair considering he's got the 2 UFC fights that he looked pretty decent in. And Boone says this is his debut, sort of. So that's where I look at it.
I just think Felipe is better than Zalgas. So I know Van beat Zalgas.
I was going to pick Boones against Zalgas too, right? So like
exactly. So that's why I don't like the odds.
Oh, the odds suck. Van should be favored. He should win this fight. He does have all the ticks beside his name. Boones can shock the world though.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We got 6-0 Tom Nolan coming in at minus 300, kind of crazy, versus 13-5 Nicolas Motta plus 240. Honestly, the safest assumption in this fight is that somebody is going to get knocked out. I think it's going to be an under. I think it's going to be fairly quick. Tom Nolan, what does he do? He finishes guys. He likes to knock guys out. He's undefeated, so you got to assume he's fairly durable, or so far we have no reason to question his chin. And Nicholas, he's been chinned a couple times badly. He's coming off a brutal knockout loss. But the one thing he still does have is he does have zip on his punches too. So it's like, I think Nick gets knocked out. But if he wins, it's because he lands a big punch early. And Tom Nolan has all the question marks around him. 6-0, not a ton of experience. You just can't be overly confident on someone with that little experience. I do think Tom Nolan knocks him out. And I'm waiting for the props to drop because I'm going to be playing the unders. Like this is a finish. Someone is getting knocked out. I'll be looking at the KO props or the under 1.5 to cover both sides. How do you see it?
I see the under for sure. But I can't put minus 300 on Nolan. He looks good, finishes guys early. But what happens if it goes late? I mean, like later, not like late, but say it gets past round 1. Not that I have that much confidence in Motta either. Been brutally knocked out by Torres, brutally knocked out by Jimmy Miller, I believe it was. And then he was fighting Trey Ogden the last time. And the referee called the fight because of the stupid submission that really wasn't a submission that got overturned. But he was getting outstruck in the first round 60-14. Right? So like that's pretty gross too. Like from Trey Ogden, of course. A guy that's not known as like
that guy's better than people think though. He's okay.
He's better, but it's like I give him credit because he's good at everything, not great at anything, right? You know what I mean? Solid fighter, and Motta has a lot of holes. But is Tom Nolan that guy? I don't know. Minus 300 is not going to get my money. Tom Nolan should win this fight. This fight should be probably under 1.5, and someone gets chinned.
I think first round, to be honest, but I will be playing the under 1.5. All right, moving on. We've got 16-8 Weston Wilson coming in at plus 550 against 11-2. I believe you pronounce it John, not Gene Silva, minus 800. Insane odds, make no sense at all. Listen, well, Weston Wilson is basically known for getting flattened. He's not very good. I think he considers himself a striker, but he's not a great striker by any means, and he has a knack for getting hit. And so I think that's where these odds are coming from. I think everybody is expecting a Silva knockout. And, I mean, that probably is what happens. But at these odds, like, you're either sprinkling the dog or you're just passing because the fight just makes no sense. These odds are stupid. There's no way I'm playing it. What do you think?
John Silva looked good in his Dana White Contender Series fight. But let's remember, he didn't even knock that guy out. He just went to a unanimous decision with that guy, right? Weston Wilson was thrown to Joe Anderson Brito, one of the best finishers in all of UFC. So it's hard to gauge, like, is Weston Wilson chinny? Is he any of that? Well, he went up against Brito. Remember, Brito just beat the wrestler,
Jonathan Pierce, great
Jonathan
fighter.
Pierce, which is
Great fighter.
he's a hella good fighter, right? And he was losing that entire fight until he finished him. So Brito's known to get finished guys. John Silva, I mean, on the regional scene, he was finishing guys, but like, you know, the Dana White Contender Series was against a guy that was a little bit better than what he's been facing in the regional scene. He did outstrike him. He did take him to a unanimous. It wasn't even close decision, but like that means he also has holes in his game. And let's think about it this way: he had that takedown in that fight. He outstruck him only by 16. It was 87 to 81. Sorry, 87 to 71. So that's not a big discrepancy in the striking, right? We don't really know what to expect from Weston Wilson. I mean, the odds suck. If you're not sprinkling Weston Wilson, then just you don't know enough about Jean Silva, whatever his damn name is, to minus 800. Minus 800s are left for the Amanda Nunez's of the world and those kind of fighters. The Bo Nichols, not John Silva.
Yeah. I agree 100%. I mean, it's a pass or dog. I don't know. It's, it doesn't make sense.
Oh, man,
all right. Moving on, we got 11-0 Farid Basharat coming in at minus 275 versus 19-3 the French Taylor Lapilus coming in at plus 225. Simply put, Taylor has to knock him out to win this fight, and I don't think that's going to happen. There's no reason to believe that Basharat's chinny or will get chinned. So I think Basharat will take him down and will dominate him on the ground, either to a finish or to a decision. It's not always the most exciting, but Taylor's been taken down by lesser wrestlers, lesser grapplers. Farid Basharat should roll here, unless I'm missing something. What do you see?
So I've been hearing a lot of this guy's going to knock him out. Taylor Lapilus is knocking out Basharat, but no one's knocked out Basharat yet. No one's made Basharat look anything less than a good fighter in the UFC. I mean, Taylor Lapilus has actually been in the UFC since 2015. I guess there was a little bit of a break because he got dropped, but his wins are by unanimous decision. His wins are outstriking guys 84-48, 63-19, 83, 80-37. That's how he wins. He's been taken down by Leandro Issa 3 times and won a decision, and he got taken down by Loughran twice and won a decision. Basharat doesn't let you up usually when you take him down. So how are they going to stay at striking range? If this fight somehow stays at striking range at any point, yeah, he'll win. I don't see you knocking him out though. But I just also don't see this fight being in range very often. Basharat's known for taking guys down. Basharat's known for controlling guys. Who else did he take down? He subbed Damon Blackshear. He took down 3 times and took him on the ground. And Damon Blackshear is a really good fighter. You know what I mean? And then in his debut, he took a guy down 3 times, outstruck him 116 to like 37. That's his game. His game is to be taking guys down. Lapilus gets taken down. That's how I see this finish. The over looks good. The Basharat by decision also looks good. I think this guy's tough enough to stay there. He's not knocking him out.
No. All right, moving on. We've got 8-1 Marcus McGhee coming in at minus 275 versus 7-3 Gaston Bolanos coming in at plus 225. If you're not familiar with these guys, I think they're actually both exciting fighters, and I think this is going to be a fun fight for however long it lasts. They usually both like to strike. You got to give the edge with the hands and the finishing ability to McGhee. The guy's like a fucking bull in a china shop. Like, he just comes forward and he clocks you and he drops you and he finishes you. And then you got Bolanos, who's supposed to be some striking prodigy, but he likes a lot of the kicks. I don't think he's going to want to throw hands with Marcus McGhee. And I think McGee's going to probably knock him out, to be honest. That's what I think. But either way, I think this is just a fun fight to watch. I think it's going to be a stand-up fight. I think McGee's better. I think he's stronger. All the finishing abilities on his side, I think. How do you see it?
I think Gaston can finish him. I just don't think he will finish him. I also don't think this is going to stay on the feet because Gaston was taken down 3 times by Aaron Phillips in the fight that he won there. And I believe that McGhee has the wrestling to beat him. Remember, he took down, what's his name? First fight, Marcus McGhee was Journey Newsome. Took him down and subbed him. After Journey looked decent, and his striking looked decent in the first round. So Marcus looked good in the first round too, don't get me wrong. So I think he's got him beat on the ground. That's his advantage in this fight. He's playing with a little fire if he stands up on the field, you know what I mean? If Gaston's got a way to win this fight, it's going to be blasting him for sure, right? And so I think McGee's problem is when guys can take him down and control him, and I don't see that happening. So worst case scenario, he gets into a little trouble on the feet and he goes to the wrestling. Then I see it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy on the ground. I say he just moves around like with the jits so easily on him. So this hits the full ground. I say rear naked choke, Marcus McGhee.
Yeah, I see a finish. I think he can knock him out, or like you said, I just think he's the better, well-rounded, stronger athlete anyway. So I think he can win it any way he wants. I think, but I see a
think
finish.
You're right. I just think Gaston's path is you want to stay away from his least path, right? So if he's smart and has a good training camp, that's the way I see he should fight.
Yeah, makes sense for sure. All right, moving on. We got 11-6 Matt Semelsberger coming in at minus 125 versus 10-4 Preston Parsons coming in at plus 100. These odds make perfect sense. I think this is a very close fight. I think both have I don't want to say a clear path because I don't think there's a clear path for either of them, but I think both can grind this fight out. I mean, Preston Parsons is a good fighter. He is. And I got to think he's slightly better, more technical grappler. It's just a matter of, will Matt Semelsberger be maybe a little bit too strong and outmuscle him? I don't know. I kind of see this fight as some kind of like a grinding fight, a very close, competitive back and forth fight. And I can see it going either way. So because it's so close, I'm almost inclined to maybe sprinkle the dog. If one of them becomes a big dog, I'd be on them. Because it's so even, I might stay away from it. I could see it going either way. What do you think?
I think that Semi the Jedi is a little overrated a little bit. Not his last loss to Euros Medic because that spinning elbow was pretty crazy. But that loss to Jeremiah Wells where he hurt Wells twice but got taken down 6 times and lost that fight after knocking down Wells 2 times in a fight. That's pretty unheard of in the UFC. Like, it's pretty unheard of to knock your guy down twice and then lose a unanimous decision to a guy. Like, his ground game's lacking, and if Preston Parsons, does anything good, is that he took down Evan Elder 4 times. He took down Trevin Giles 3 times. That Trevin Giles fight, it was 1-1 going into the third. And it's just, if he didn't gas that little bit because that was so grapple heavy in the first 2 rounds, he probably would have beaten Trevin Giles too. But we hit that Trevin Giles decision on that fight. I remember that. That was like plus 400. I told him like Trevin Giles decision, right? Because it was close. And so yeah, I mean, if there's one weakness in Semi the Jedi, it's his ground game. And if Preston Parsons wants to come in there and employ a ground game, that plus 100 looks like it's going to be like minus 300 if he's going to able to. Semi can be like, it's so gross to say it, but he can be on the ground and being like controlled a lot over and over again. Jeremiah Wells, not the greatest gas tank in the world. And he controlled him several times for minutes at a time. You know what I mean? So yeah, I lean dog here actually, especially when Semi the Jedi took this fight on short notice, right? So
Yep. All right, moving on. We've got a heavyweight battle. We got 34 and 22 legend Andre Arlovski. Jesus Christ, what year is it? 2024, and Andre Arlovski still fighting. Coming in at plus 400, going against 10 and 1 Waldo Cortes-Acosta, coming in at minus 550. And to be honest, I actually think there's good value on Waldo at minus 550. I can't see a fucking world where Andre Arlovski wins this fight. The book is out. The guy, if you allow him to do like a point fight, spar match, whatever, sure, he can outpoint you. He's still, I guess, fairly technical fighter. But if you just blitz this guy, he's getting knocked out. He's getting knocked out if you blitz him. And Cortes, for all his flaws, he's not like a polished fighter at all. He's still fairly quick. He is young. He does hit hard. He's gonna drop Andre Arlovski. I cannot see any way he loses. I mean, all he's shown that he's bad at so far have been those leg kicks. I remember his leg was getting chewed up against, I think it was like Bandera or something. I don't know. I forget who it was, but his leg was getting chewed up bad. And like to the point where it was like, oh my God, he might lose via leg kicks. But Andre Arlovski's not going to do that. And like I said, the book's out on Arlovski. Just friggin' swarm him, finish him, hit the chin. It's over. I will be betting Acosta at minus 550, sorry. For me, he is a safe parlay piece. And I'll probably sprinkle a knockout prop as well. But I think he's safe as hell personally. What do you think?
I think he wins the fight because he's got better volume. He's got a better chin. He's faster. He's younger. There's everything. There's no value on him at minus 550, but the fact that he should win like 99.9% of the time, that's value enough to actually pick him. But there's a sixth spot that I want to see what an over 1.5 would be, because Acosta is known from time to time to play with his food a little bit. So he played with Chase Sherman, he played with Jared Vandera, guys that went the distance with Andre Arlovski, and he got chewed up by Rogerio de Lima and lost the decision there. That was the guy that chewed up his legs. Over 1.5, if it's plus money, I might sprinkle that because I think Arlovski can hold up. If Acosta doesn't come after, like you said, blitz, right? Acosta doesn't blitz, and Arlovski doesn't take chances. So I think he loses, though. Like I think he loses. Like,
yeah, the problem I have with Arlovski is like even though he still is fairly technical, like he has zero power. He hasn't knocked anyone out in fucking 10 years. I mean, I don't know. I'm not looking at his stats, but it's been forever since he's had that knockout shot. So it's not even like he has a puncher's chance. He doesn't have a get lucky and catch him chance here. Like I just see zero pass for him.
No. You're right. I mean, the volume is clearly on Acosta's side. The power, the speed, everything's there. And like, I just think that it could get drawn out. The only value is to see it get drawn out for over 1.5. That's the only value you could ever get in this fight.
And for the record, too, I just want to be on record saying this. If you watch some of our older videos, I'm not a big Acosta fan. I actually said I don't like the way this guy showboats. I don't like the way he was like yelling in the cage and pumping his chest and shit. I'm always rooting for the old guys. So I would love to see Arlovski win, but it ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I can't see it.
All right, moving on. We got 12 and 5 Megatron Phil Hawes coming in at plus 100 versus 10 and 1 Bruno Ferreira coming in at minus 125. I like Phil Hawes. I think the guy is so physically talented and has all the skills. Unfortunately, I will always bet against him, against anybody who punches with power. And Bruno Ferreira, for all his flaws, the guy's not a fantastic fighter, but he hits hard as hell. And that is Phil Hawes' kryptonite every single time. So I'm loving Bruno Ferreira at minus 125. And when Phil Hawes loses, he doesn't lose by decision. He gets chinned. So I'll be waiting for that knockout prop. I have a feeling that the knockout's not even going to give you much more on that, but I'll be looking for that. And regardless, I do like Bruno Ferreira at minus 125. I wish Phil Hawes would win because I'd like to see him stick around, but I think he gets knocked out here, and I think he's done. What do you think?
What's the Phil Hawes recipe? Phil Hawes is winning the fight until he's not winning the fight. And what's the Bruno Ferreira mentality? Bruno's probably losing the fight until he wins the fight. So, like, what Bruno does well is what Phil does bad. So, I just don't see how he doesn't get chinned in 15 minutes, right? Does he wrestle fuck him for 15 minutes?
Around.
Dude, I don't think he has the cardio to pull that shit off. Does he hold him against the fence and not get punched in the face? Like, it's hard to believe that Bruno. Phil Haas is was robotic as RoboCop is, and RoboCop got chinned by him pretty hard, right? And I know RoboCop's durable because he just stands there and takes punches to the face, he blocks punches with his face all the time. And when Phil blocks punches with his face, he gets
It's
stanky,
over.
right? I mean, Chris Curtis did it to him. Roman Dolidze killed him. Absolutely.
Alaskarov.
Alaskarov. He was winning that fight until he was losing that fight. He was beating Chris Curtis until he wasn't beating Chris Curtis. Yeah, Bruno Ferreira, but the knockout has to. I don't see Bruno Ferreira winning any sort of decision or anything like that. This fight, I don't even think Phil Haas can finish Bruno, to be honest with you. I mean, if Phil's going to win this, it's going to be by
It's by
decision.
holding him.
Right, it's going to be by holding him up against the cage and doing all that shit. So, if you want to be all like weird and shit and play Phil Haas by decision, I could clearly see that as being Phil Haas' method to victory. I don't see him knocking him out because if he goes for the knockout, he's putting himself in danger, and I don't think his chin can hold half a punch.
Nope. Well, it should be a fun one anyways.
Yeah.
Moving on, we got Ricky Simone, 20-4, coming in at -175 versus 13-2. Mario Bautista coming in at +150. I'm probably the only person in the world that thinks like this is one of the fights I'm not really looking forward to. I have a feeling this is just going to kind of be a grind and battle of position. And for me, it doesn't really do anything for me. I don't really like either of these guys, to be honest. And I'm having a hard time picking a winner. Like, I don't like Ricky, and I don't like Mario. I mean, my first thought was maybe stab the dog here, but I mean, maybe Ricky grinds him out. I mean, that's his path, is to grind him out. If he just shoots, maybe he can grind a decision. I'm hoping Mario knocks him out or something like that, but even that sounds silly in itself. So just for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, this is the fight I'm probably least looking forward to. What do you think here?
I think it's an easy Ricky Simone win, to be honest with you, because I think he'll get the wrestling going. So, full disclosure, I think Mario Bautista lost that fight to Damon Blackshear. Full disclosure, he got outstruck 90-79 and got taken down 4 times, and he only took down Blackshear twice. So, full disclosure, I think he lost that fight. So maybe because I bet on Blackshear and I think so, but like those numbers still point in Blackshear's favor, right? Outstruck by 21 strikes and out grappled 4-2 takedowns. So he's susceptible to the takedown. When Ricky loses fights, he loses fights to Song Yadong, who is probably one of the top fighters in the division right now. And when he lost that fight to Song, it's because Song didn't get taken down, or when he did get taken down, it wasn't very long. And Song never got controlled, right? Can you say that about Mario Bautista? I don't know. Because Ricky's pretty suffocating on the ground. He suffocated Jack Shore, who has one hell of a ground game. So, yeah, man, I think this is an actual easy Ricky win, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I'm going to have Ricky's one of my plays. I'm going to put him on that.
Do you think Ricky's a way better grappler than Blackshear?
I think he's a better wrestler.
I think Blackshear's a better grappler.
Blackshear probably is a better grappler, but Ricky, remember when he gets on the ground, if he's able to employ those suffocate, he's one of the only guys to beat fucking Merab Dvalishvili, right?
So, that was a fucking weird one.
Yeah, so
that's where he choked him unconscious with like 1 second left.
Yeah, but then he subbed him with a guillotine, and then he finished him too. So, but he also beat Montel Jackson. He also beat Rafael Sunsao and Jack Shore. So I mean, he's got the experience. Listen, he's taken down Borg 7 times. He took down, if he can employ the ground game. That's all I'm saying. He's
100%. If he can get the takedown, he wins the fight.
Dude, like he's a guy that would go for 20 takedowns in a fucking fight, right? So that's why I like him. Those are the kind of guys I like to bet on. Guys that will go for the takedown, right?
Does Song Yadong have way better takedown defense than Bautista? Yeah. I know he's better hands, way more dangerous striker, way more dangerous. But the takedown defense,
he's tougher, man. Song's tough, right? Remember, Song is tough as nails.
Oh yeah.
Bautista lost to Trevin Jones or Trevin Giles or one of those two guys. He got knocked out second round, I think. I'm gonna look it up because I am very. It was Trevin Jones. He lost to Trevin Jones, right? So he takes chances. He's susceptible. The guys he's beating are just like Jay Perrin, Brian Keller, Benito Lopez, Guido Canetti. Damon Blackshear was his best win, and that'd be fucking Ricky Simone's worst win. I'm
Hey,
not doing MMA math. I just think he's just gonna get taken down.
I'm just praying for a finish in this fight. I don't know why it just stands out as a boring fight to me, but maybe I'm crazy and
I don't
I don't
think
want to
it's a finish, but I do think it's right.
All right. Moving on to the featured fight. We got the legendary 36-17 Jim Miller coming in at -125. And he is going against 23-10 Gabriel Benitez coming in at +100. I'm not going to lie. I'm surprised to see Jim Miller on this card because I believe he already said he was on UFC 300 because he's the only fighter to ever be on UFC 100 and 200 and 300. And that will be his farewell song, most likely, or whatever. So I hope he doesn't sustain any injuries here, and I hope he can be on UFC 300 to finish his career. And the way I see this fight is I actually think Miller's better everywhere by a little bit. It's a fairly competitive fight. Benitez is not some terrible fighter. But when Jim Miller loses, it's usually to maybe someone who's physically more strong, like maybe like a younger, bigger, stronger athlete. And I don't think that's Gabriel Benitez. So I think this is a winnable fight for Miller. I think he has the better hands. And I think the grappling, for the most part, will cancel each other out, I think. So I think Jim Miller wins by striking. Not huge confidence, but that's kind of how I see it. What do you think?
Jim Miller by KO, baby. That's what I think. Listen, man. Benitez, I thought for all intents and purposes, I thought this guy was retired, to be honest with you. Hasn't fought since 2022, August 13th, against Charlie Ontiveros. Every good fighter he's ever fought, he's lost to. David Onama lost. Bailey Quarantillo lost. Umar Morales at the time was a good fighter. He lost to him. He lost to Sadiq Youssef. Guys he beat are like Justin James, Charlie Ontiveros. You think Jim Miller? You throw Jim Miller in that fucking... No. 2 years off. You're coming against a legend who actually has gained power in the last 5 years. He never used to be a knockout artist. Never used to be. But Jim Miller, on the other hand, his last loss was to Alexander Hernandez, a bigger, stronger, younger guy that can push him around, right? Just like we said. But what about the other guys? Jesse Butler, KO. Donald Cerrone, sub. Nicolas Motta, KO. Eric Gonzalez, KO. And then he lost to Selecki and Pichel. Pichel pushed him around because he's bigger. Selecki, a younger fighter, better ground game. And he barely won that fight, Selecki, right? So Jim Miller has shown me a lot more in the last 5 years. And his last fight was 2023 June. I know it's been a little while, but he's still fighting on a way more regular basis. And Benitez is going to engage, and Jim's going to be like, yeah, baby, let's go. And who gets finished and who doesn't? Jim Miller is not a guy that he's shown durability. He gets hurt. Like Hernandez hit him. Hernandez should have, for all intents and purposes, finished Jim Miller at that age gap, that strength gap, that size gap. But Jim
Miller showed toughness.
Durable. And he probably won round one, to be honest with you, in that fight, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I got nothing on Gabriel Benitez. I think Jim Miller all day, all night on this one. Jim Miller by finish, too, inside the distance.
I'd love to see it. Love to see it. And I think he does. I mean, that would be my pick.
Yep.
All right, moving on to the co-main event. We got the rematch, 19-3-1, Matheus Nicolau coming in at +200. Funny because he won the first fight between them, going against 19-6, Manel Kape coming in at -250. First fight was a split decision. A lot of people thought it should have went the other way. It was close. I don't think it was a robbery by any means. It could have went either way. No complaints here from, you can't cry about that decision. The problem with that was Kape's volume. Like, that's always been the story with Kape. When he throws, this guy is possibly the most dangerous striker in that division, but he is a counter striker, and there's matches where he does nothing. He just kind of waits and waits and waits and has no output. Now, those were kind of when he first came to the UFC. He started with back-to-back losses, Pantoja, and I think it was this one, Nicolau. Since then, he's ramped up the volume. He has found finishes. And to be honest, I think that this guy can be the champion of this division. I know I'm going to catch flack for that. A lot of people don't seem to like him. I think his grappling's great. People think, oh, just take him down and grapple fuck him. Nope, good try. You're not going to be able to. His grappling is good, and I think he is one of the few guys at that weight that knocks people out. He has fight-ending power. He has the technique. He has the speed. All he needs to do is let his hands and feet fly. It's just volume. If he throws, I have confidence in him against anybody. I have confidence in him here. I think he's going to win this fight. I got Manel Kape. What do you think?
I think Kape wins too. I think it's probably because he's overall like basically it comes down to like 2 takedowns in their first fight, right? There was 2 takedowns on the Nicolau side that probably won him that fight. They were good time takedowns. And Kape, for all intents and purposes, around 80% takedown defense, so that should never happen. So, and he's a good wrestler himself, to be honest with you. I believe he took out Pantoja a couple times in that fight. So, I feel Kape has a chip on his shoulder. Nobody wants to fight him. Nobody good wants to fight him. He has to fight a Felipe De Santos, right? Who actually turned out to be a really good fucking fight, to be honest. Felipe De Santos showed me a lot of stuff in that fight. Showed me that he is a tough fighter. But what is it? Kape showed me that he could take a good young fighter and show the holes. Excuse me. Nicolau, on the other hand, just got knocked out by Ronda Roval because he got too cocky, I think. Took that fight a little bit soft. And yeah, well, this is Kape's story. Like, I mean, like, Kape wants to be anything. He's got to beat Nicolau here. If he wants to go for the title or he wants to go anywhere close to Pantoja and get that rematch with Pantoja, he's got to beat Nicolau right here. Revenge match. So, you know what? So a lot of times when the revenge match happens, if it was a finish in the first one, usually the second one goes to decision. So there was a decision in the first one. I feel like Kape finishes him in this one, though. He's got to make a statement. He's got to make a statement. Yeah, otherwise it's just a useless fucking fight, to be honest with you. He's got to make a statement here. Nicolau showed that his chin is sort of I don't know if it's losing durability because that's the first time he ever got knocked out. So we shall see, but I'm going to pick Kape. I'm going to pick Kape by finish because I know I'm going to get plus money.
So I agree with you. I think that he probably does win by knockout. But the one thing I love that you brought up, because I normally do bring it up with Kape, is that everybody avoids this guy. Everybody. This guy had so many. This guy, 5 of his last 7 fights have been opponent pullouts. Sumar G pulled out. Rogerio Bonatorin pulled out. Alex Perez pulled out. Davison Figueiredo pulled out. Kai Kara France pulled out. Buddy, nobody wants to fight this guy, man. Nobody wants to fight this guy. So you know what? If he knocks out Nicolau, which I think he will, fuck it, man. Kai Kara France pulled out and wants to talk all that shit or whatever. I think he starts with Kai Kara France too, to be honest. I think he's better than Kai. But you know what? All these guys have been pulling out. He should bypass them, man. He should be the next challenger. I mean, maybe like I don't know who else you do. Are you gonna do a rematch again with Marino? Manel Kape. You keep avoiding the guy, then he's got to pass you. Like Manel Kape. I don't know. I think this guy's gonna be champion. I seriously do. I know a lot of you don't like him. I think he's got it.
I like him.
Sorry for my rant.
I like him here too.
All right, moving on. We've got the main event. We've got a rematch. We got 18-1-1 Magomed Ankalaev coming in at -500, going against 21-7 Johnny Walker coming in at +380. Ankalaev, I know that last name, it sounds like he's going to be a Dagestani wrestler or something. He's not really. He likes to strike for the most part. He does have a good ground game. Like he's not a slouch on the ground, but he's not some power wrestler. He likes to strike. Then you got Johnny Walker, very, very dangerous, very big, very long, very athletic, very explosive, capable of knockouts from weird angles. And he has good jiu-jitsu as well. He doesn't use it all the time, but he does have some submissions. This is a weird one. Obviously, the first fight, Ankalaev gave him the illegal knee, and they stopped the fight. Johnny Walker was like pushing the ref and fucking all weird and shit. That was a strange ending. So they're going to run it back. There is bad blood. And for the most part, Ankalaev fights are usually boring and go the distance. So I know a lot of people are going to like the decision here. I just personally feel like when Johnny Walker loses, he loses. And I don't think he's going to decision Ankalaev. So for him to win, he catches him and he knocks him out. And if he doesn't knock out Ankalaev, like I said, when he loses, he loses. So, and I think Ankalaev has a giant chip on his shoulder. He didn't get his rematch after a draw for the title. He's been bypassed so many times. And I think probably rightfully so, because you know what? Nobody does like him. He is boring. So you know what? If you don't move the needle, I'm sorry, you are going to get bypassed. So I think he does have that chip on his shoulder. He's coming to finish this fight, I think. And I think we're going to see a finish. I'm rooting for Johnny Walker, by the way. I am. But I think either way, the unders are live for me. And I'm sure there's a million people out there with a different opinion. Probably you, maybe. What do you think?
I do think the overs are live for me, to be honest with you. But like, it's all a numbers game here, though, right? Like, if I'm not getting good plus money on the decision of the over, then it's not worth it to me. To be honest with you, Ankalaev is the more well-rounded character. Fighter in this fight, and I think he's going to employ the ground game. Like, the striking was pretty close in the first one until he took him down, and that's when I thought he was just going to just manhandle him on the ground. He likes to keep who was it, Nikita Krylov, that he kept to the ground for 3 rounds. You know what I mean? He didn't want to strike with him because he knows what's coming back with him. So Johnny Walker, if he strikes too long with him, he might get knocked out, just like you said, right? So I think he uses the ground game to his advantage, strings this out. Maybe not a decision, but at least I think maybe into the 4th round, maybe into the 5th round, maybe that late. And Ankalaev maybe finishes him due the volume because he's so tired. But Johnny Walker's a good fighter. Minus 500 is too much. Maybe Ankalaev and over 1.5. That might be a good play, right? So that's probably what I'll go with.
You know what? Like, Johnny Walker kind of used to be like a laughing stock. Like, you just kind of, this guy's a clown. He's not that good. You know what? He has improved tremendously. He is a good fighter. And honestly, if he pulls a shocking upset here and knocks out Ankalaev, I would say he's earned a title shot. Honestly, like no one can really beat Ankalaev other than a Hail Mary submission from Paul Craig. So I mean, and I think the UFC would be happy as hell if Johnny Walker pulled this off. I think they'd love it. So a title shot is probably on the line here. There's not really anything going on in that light heavyweight division. So I think they're going to go for it, and I hope we see a finish either way. I hope somebody rises here.
I agree.
Okay, guys. What do you think? Normally we drop these on Monday, and we drop a bet show on Thursday after the props are out. There's no props out yet. You want to come back in 2 days and do check out the props or what?
We'll tackle a quick one. I got a prop for the wildcard game on Sunday. Green Bay Packers will cover the spread on the Dallas Cowboys. Screw the Cowboys.
I mean, Cowboys always choke, right? So
I hate the Cowboys. 7.5. We're the best team in the second half of the NFL season. We got the best young quarterback out there right now. 18-1 with touchdowns to interceptions over the last 6 games. So, Dallas is known to. So
they either win big or they choke. So you'll know quickly if they're running away with it or if they're going to blow it.
Let's go Pack. Let's go Pack.
All right, I like it. All right, guys, we'll see you in a couple days. Like I said, we'll give you our props and our parlays in a few days. Drop us a comment, a like, your favorite pick, anything that you disagree with. We love hearing it. Happy New Year, and we'll see you in a couple days. Have a good one.